So basically, this is the ConPaaS front end. What I'm going to do today is show you how I can, in more or less 8 to 10 minutes, deploy and scale Wikipedia. I'm going to have a Wikipedia application running in Tomcat, in an application server. With this database, we're going to take a database dump out of Wikipedia, load it in the database, and then in 8 minutes, I should have a working Wikipedia for you. If I don't screw up, I can just log in the system. So right now, nothing is running on my behalf. Pretty much the platform is empty. What I can do is to create a service, and over there, I have a choice between 4 services which are implemented and integrated. I have something if I want to run PHP applications, something for Java applications, my NoSQL database, or a MapReduce framework. So I'm going to need a NoSQL database, and I'm going to need a Java application server. So what is happening right now is a VM is being started on our platform in Germany to run that NoSQL database. It's going to take a couple of minutes, so during that time, I can also start my Java service, which will be dedicated to hosting Java servers. So for some reason, we don't use Jonas or not yet. We're using this using Tomcat instead. But we could perfectly bundle Jonas inside these kind of services. So in a few seconds, my services should be started. Yes, so my ScalarX service has started. So what I can do is go and take a look at it. I can give it a better name, like this is going to be my Wikipedia database. And basically what I see is I have one VM running which runs that database. Right now the database is empty, there is no state, there is no nothing in there. So what I'm going to do for the sake of the demo is to copy its IP address and upload my database dump. So if we go back to the dashboard, we can see that the system is starting to upload a number of key value pairs, a number of elements in my database. When we have 500,000, we're ready. So we can see that the number should grow. I'm also going to take my database, if the network is with me, copy its IP address again, because I need to give the IP address of that database to my application servers. They need to know where to find the data. So I'm rebuilding the package with the new configuration just to know where is the data. This is generating a WAR file, the super standard format. There's no special file we need to have. I'm going to go to my Java service and upload my application. So if you notice, my Java service right now has indeed one VM running, but that VM says manager. It does not say this is a Tomcat service running. It does not say this is a web server. Basically, that VM is just in charge of managing a set of other VMs which actually are going to run the real code. So everything is slow, presumed because of the network. I hope that will still work. Yes. So now let me start a second VM. I will still have one VM running a manager, and that manager is in charge of receiving instructions to do more things. One instruction could be, well, would you please create a VM containing a web server? It could be, well, I have so many, could you please create more? Could you create less? Here is a new version of the code. Change the configuration files. All those things get addressed to the manager. Manager is also the place where we're going to centralize monitoring information. Of course, we want to monitor how fast the system is. So right now, my worker machine is being started. And that machine is going to contain 3 things. It's going to contain a load balancer, is going to contain a web server and a Tomcat server. And basically, the way it's organized is that all traffic is handled by the load balancer, and then requests for static documents go to the web server, requests for dynamic documents go to Tomcat. As long as you have one VM, this is not really necessary to do all these complicated things. But whenever we're going to scale the system up, then you can very well decide, well, I'm going to have a few VMs dedicated to just the static pages, and you can have caching and all kinds of things over there. And I will have a few VMs specialized for generating dynamic documents. And then you can specialize your nodes and expand. So those are actual virtual machines being started. Those are not displays pretending to have a virtual machine. Those are actual applications being deployed. But that should. So actually, while we're waiting, what I can show you is the log of everything that's being done. So right now, that's the full history of what that service has been through. What you can see is that it has started at 3:30, telling me that I should be a bit late for my presentation. And right now, we're creating one more node. The request has been sent, and we're polling, waiting for the node to arrive. All right, so my node has failed, which is no good, and we're going to go through a second round. As you may know, everyone who has used cloud platforms extensively, you know that something like 5% of VM creation requests fail for mysterious reasons. And this is true in open source clouds as well as commercial ones. What can I tell you while? Actually, let me finish my presentation, and I'll come back to my demo when the presentation is finished. Something which is very important. Once I have reconfigured, deployed my application is running, I can still request for changes. I can still request for new version of the code to be deployed, for changes in configuration, for more machines, less machines. I mean, it's a very flexible system. We want to avoid this. Doodle, we will be back soon. Doodle is currently offline because we're upgrading our systems to provide a better experience. Well, a better experience would be not seeing this. So all those configurations will be done in such a way that the system will keep on working at any second of time during that period. What we have right now, there is a first alpha release online. If you go to web.conpaas.eu, that's ConPaaS with an N and 2 A's, you'll find the source code for the front end, the web application I've been using to interact with the system, and for the web hosting service, Java and PHP. The Scalarex database is not yet released, but we will do this very soon, hopefully, let's say January, probably. We have a public taskbar, so if you want to play with this, you can just go to the system, give us your name and email address, and you'll be able to try the system for free. Future plans, well, we will build more services. There are 2 which are almost ready, which are a service for around MySQL, in which the principle will be the same, like you'll just snap your fingers and get a MySQL database. If you snap your finger a second time, you can scale it up and replicate the database automatically. Bags of tasks, this is for scientific applications, in which you have a lot of more or less identical tasks to run, and you want to automate this execution. The system is designed such that creating new services is supposed to be very easy. So if you have your middleware and you think, well, I would like to have, I don't know, data streaming as a service in ConPaaS, well, we don't have the resources to do all this, but it should be fairly easy to build a service around decent software. The plans is to allow users to have a manifest file to describe the entire application. Actually, I can put it like this. Instead of deploying, well, I'm going to deploy my database, and then I'm going to deploy my application server, we should have one file that describes the entire application, and suddenly I should not have to tell my application servers where is my database anymore, because that will be automated, because the system will know this is one application and this is the structure, how things relate to each other. There will be, of course, performance monitoring, and there will be resource provisioning. So you will be able to specify how fast you want the system to be. Let's say I want my application to respond within 500 milliseconds. And the system will automatically add and remove machines such that you maintain this response time using the least number of resources possible. We will also work on development tools. For example, if you build a web application, it's very useful to be able to have two versions of the application running. One in production, the one your real users are using, and you don't want to disturb that one too much. Now, if you're developing something new and you want to test it, it's very useful to be able to have a second version running next to it, and with some parameter in the request, instruct your system, well, I want to use the development system to test it. At some point, swap that one into production. So my conclusion before I show you, let me check if yes, my node is there. So now I have a manager and a second VM, which contains a proxy, a web server, and a Java server. The interesting thing is I have two versions of the software over there. One was the default one, which is just a placeholder saying, welcome to ConPaaS, and the other one is the wiki. As long as I did not set the new one active, the old one is still running. So if I go to my application, I see welcome to ConPaaS. On the other hand, if I decide to set my Scalarex wiki active, and I go to the same page and reload, I'm going to see my wiki running. It takes a while to load the Java classes in Tomcat. On first request, yes, here is my Wikipedia. And this is a full wiki. I can go and edit the pages. I can do everything you can do on Wikipedia. I'm not going to show you this by lack of time, but if I want to add machines, the only thing I need to do is to say, well, please give me 2 more VMs which are going to run Java Tomcat, and 2 more VMs will be created. The whole system will get reconfigured, and the capacity of my system will increase. So let me conclude. ConPaaS is an open source integrated runtime environment for Elastic Cloud applications. It contains a number of services. It has application servers, so you can serve static content, dynamic content in PHP, in Java. We can do Python, we can do Ruby. There are database servers, MySQL, Scalarex is a NoSQL database. There are high-performance frameworks. We can build more if there is a need for it. Of course, everything is open source. I would not be here otherwise. And the system is already, at least partly, available for testing. And we're very eager to get as many users as possible. So that concludes my talk, if you have any questions.